Hello, back to a new video. Today we're gonna take a look at the newly released XL version of Bruxish. We already took a look at the Bruxish in the current Psychic Cup as well, like twice actually. So now we're going to take a look at the open Ultra League for Bruxish. We got our Pokemon up to 2497 CP, which is close to 2500 of course. You can actually get rank 1 is basically, I think, level 49 or something. 0, 14, 14 or something, so like you can definitely actually get them a little bit better in terms of the IVs. I actually got better IVs as well, but I already built this one for the Great League. I don't think the difference is going to be that crazy for the Ultra League, so I just built I used the one that I built for Great League and just powered it up for that. So this is now the Pokemon we're going to use here, and this Pokemon is actually pretty damn decent. I actually liked it. It's not going to, it's not saying that I'm going to have the craziest results with this team, especially because there are some issues with this team. But still, I think this Pokemon is pretty decent. Like, not gonna lie, my opponent going to forfeit here, but like, I think there are definitely some benefits for this Pokemon in this meta, especially with the extra bulk. I feel like it's a really cool Pokemon. The issue with this team, of course, is if you get hardwalled like here, that you just get hardwalled. But otherwise, the issue with this team is Trevenant. Like, Trevenant has basically no answer on this team here. There is nothing that really wants to beat a Trevenant. And of course, you encounter like a lot of them. So it's going to be a little bit of a tough one to play around against this Pokemon, as we encounter here at least at Drapion, which we can go ahead and go for some rock side damage, as we see the going for the Awkward Tail. It's going to be a definitely tough matchup to come back from this. Rock side should not knock them out, but maybe puts them into farm down range, which is nice. And we will encounter now the Tapu Fini coming back in and a Steelix in the back. Basically completely hardwalled from the get-go. Here's the thing as well, we are 2 shields currently. We get our fast move through, charge move through, which is kind of nice. But I have to get a call that they're gonna go for the bait here, that they didn't go for the bait, and now the game is over. There's not a lot that I can do about this. I wouldn't have been able to win this no matter what. Like, there was literally no option for me. Steelix is just way too bulky for Bruxish to take that thing down. If I had Water Gun, most likely I still had a chance, but with Confusion there was nothing. This team was kind of built around Giratina actually, because I didn't want to have the Giratina matched up against our Bruxish, because I think this would have been a horrible matchup. So I have a lead that should be pretty decent against it, and a Say-Swap with Cresselia that should basically get it all the time out of there, which also then has access to the move Moonblast to retaliate a little bit. So like, this team was kind of trying to bait out the Giratina. Here we faced in the lead, which is pretty decent for me as well, as I'm going to be able to catch the move on my Cresselia, which maybe wasn't the smartest idea. Still doesn't do too much damage here, but I kind of want to keep my Galarian Stunfisk alive. We will see now the Shield Sneak coming through, and we're going to see the swap into a Weavile. Like, I have no idea why my opponent plays a Weavile, but that's definitely some cool spice here from my opponent. We'll be able to go ahead and go for still a Moonblast here, which is going to be very nice, as this actually going to get them pretty damn low as well, putting them into range for 1 Confusion actually, so I can just let this move go through, shield up the next move onto our Bruxish, and go for the Confusion down here, which might help us win this game. Let's take a look at this. Fast move coming through, Avalanche coming through. Maybe should have let this move go through, but like, it still would have hurt a lot. We see the Cobalion coming in, which is really decent for us, because we can go ahead, go for these Psychic Fangs, and we will be able to debuff them and do a lot of damage with our Confusion, while their fast move and their main charge move is resisted. Giratina comes in here, and I can go ahead and go for these Psychic Fangs now, hopefully, but they're gonna go for 1 charge move here. Stone Edge coming through, I can go for 1 more fast move, go for the Psychic Fang here, and I should be able to outspeed them as well for the next one. I'm actually going to swap, no, I'm not going to swap, because they're going to let this move go through anyway, so it's going to be a good game there. Next opponent, Tapu Fini, horrible lead again. Like, we face a lot of horrible matchups though doing this video, so like, Tapu Fini lead here into a Trevenant coming in. Not ideal whatsoever, but we're actually going to still have a pretty okayish matchup here against the Trevenant with our Cresselia, which is something that you should not supposed to have here, because this is a Ghost type against a Psychic type with like super effective moves the entire time against us. But still, we're going to be able to get a shield here, which is very decent, as we can now go ahead, go into our Galarian Stunfisk, and hopefully we can sweep endgame with our Bruxish. I guess this would be our play to go here. They're gonna go for the Shadow Ball. I can go for 1 more charge move. This will do some decent damage, and we can see here the opponent going into the Tapu Fini, and we have a Dragonite against us. This might actually still be winnable. Let's take a look at this. We can go for the Psychic Fangs to get to the move at the same time as the opponent, which is nice, as they're going to let the move go through, allowing us to actually shield this move up, farm them all the way down, and have a Psychic Fang nearly stored for the Tapu Fini coming in. Issue here now is I kinda have to call the bait. I feel like I should most likely just let the next move go through, hope that it's a Surf. But I'm not going to do this, I think. and I think this was a mistake, because now my opponent will be able to farm up a little bit extra. If I just let this move go through, they kind of were forced to shield this one. I would have had a shield plus my Galarian Stunfisk still. Now like this, I'm going to try to swap out here in time. They have so much energy already stored. Of course, they perfectly get me into range to farm me down on my charge move, and we're going to lose this match here. I think this was winnable as well. Just if I played it a little bit better, if I let the surf go through in the beginning, I think I would have been better off here, but yeah, that's my own mistake. We see a next opponent here, Galarian Stunfisk against us. We're gonna go ahead and go for the mirror here with the Rock Slide. Rock Slide bait coming in here from me. Let's see what they do. They're gonna go straight for the Earthquake, or we can go straight for the Rock Slide, giving us an advantage of their shield. And let's see, they're going to shield this move up, which is amazing for us, as we can now go ahead and go for the Earthquake. They're going to catch the move though on the Trevenant, which I don't even find that bad for us, I guess. Like it's still not very good for us, of course, but at least we're going to be able to do some damage against the Trevenant already. We can get to another Rock Slide in time for sure, as they're going to go for one charge move, which you're going to be able to survive. We're still not really looking too good here. Hopefully they're going to let this move go through. We should go ahead and then swap out otherwise. They're going to let this move go through, which is nice. I'm still going to swap out here. They're going to go back into their Galarian Stunfisk, very likely. And we can go into our Cresselia, which has at least access to the move Grass Knot, which is going to be pretty decent against the opponent here. So they go for the Earthquake, which is not really ideal for us. We can go for one more Grass Knot here coming in. Let's see how it's going to go here. Going to get them to around half of their health, as we will be able to tank the next move here coming in. Going to be another Earthquake most likely. Kind of want to keep the shield for the Bruxish, of course, which will be able to definitely do more damage with the shield, because you can debuff the opponent. We're going to be able to get another move through, and we can knock them out here, hopefully, or they're going to shield this move up. Let's take a look at this. They're going to shield this move up, actually, which is something that I find a little bit interesting. They have to go for an Earthquake hit in order to knock me out, and they do that, as we can go ahead and go into our Bruxish. We will be able to just let this move go through. This is only a Rock Slide for sure, and we will see now the Virizion coming in here. This is going to be amazing for us, as Bruxish is going to clean up this match. We will be able to go for another charge move here, and we're going to swap out, which in hindsight was kind of stupid, but it still actually worked out pretty well for us, because we can get another fast move through, and we're going to win CMP against the Virizion here, allowing us to knock them out with our fish here, as you're going to be able to just farm down the opponent's Galarian Stunfisk as well and win this game. Good game there. Next opponent, let's take a look what they're going to have here. The true athlete going to have a Cresselia in the lead. Very decent lead for us, of course. We can swap out eventually, but they're going to go into a Snorlax. This is a little bit tricky for me, because Snorlax has access to the move Superpower, and also has a super effective damage with a fast move against my Cresselia, but I'm gonna still go into my Cresselia here, because we can take the body slams way better than a superpower on the Galarian Stunfisk, allowing us to basically just go into this matchup without having to use a shield. I still misplay here, of course, because I went a little bit too, I was too greedy here. I should have run for my Moonblast a little bit before. Now we have a CMP tie here, which I didn't want to have. They can shield this move up, but they still won't be able to realign if they wanted to. At least, like, not with one shield. They would have needed another shield, but you see the Cresselia coming in, which is fine for us. We're actually in a pretty decent spot right now. We're in the driver's seat for sure, as we're going to be able to go ahead and realign our Pokemon, go for Moonblast, and we can see here the opponent has to go for another Moonblast here, but they go for a Grass Knot, which does not knock us out. So we put them into a range, I think, where an Earthquake nearly knocks them out already, and this is totally fine for us, as we can go ahead, go for our Galarian Stunfisk, and we encounter, of course, an Obstagoon in the back. Obstagoon and Scrafty will be horrible for this team. This was also something I didn't think about. So yeah, this team was not the smartest idea. In hindsight, I think I should just went for my own Obstagoon or Scrafty in the lead here, because I have pretty decent coverage against the rest. Obstagoon and Scrafty will be able to deal with Giratina. So I think just my lead would have been something I wanted to change there as well, for this team to be more balanced. So in my opinion, maybe a Scrafty lead would make more sense for this team, especially as Scrafty is weak, and also the Obstagoon, of course, would be weak against counter users against them, where, like, if they're dark type, like here the Obstagoon, you're still going to be neutral, while if they are just normal counter users, or like double kick users like the Cobalion and Virizion, you're going to be able to go into either of your psychic type there in the back, which will be able to go for then some super effective damage, which is going to be fine. But here we're going to sadly lose out this matchup, because we are very weak against Obstagoon. So something that you definitely have to keep in mind with that. I think still, like, if you ask me if it's worth it to power this Pokemon up, definitely not. But like, I still think it's a cool Pokemon to have. It's not a Pokemon that's completely useless like a Regidrago or anything like this. It's a fun Pokemon to use, the Bruxish in the Ultra League. but it's not something where if you don't have it, you feel like, oh no, I really wanted this. Especially with the upcoming Community Day, the Slowbro is definitely better than Bruxish in my opinion, just because of the way more bulk that they have. Like, actually going to take a look real quick on the side how much more bulk a Slowbro XL has compared to a Bruxish XL. Slowbro is just way better for that regard. You have Servo Slowbro, which does a little bit more damage than Awkward Tail, I think. And you're going to have also like then a nuke move like either Ice Beam or Psychic on this Pokemon, which is going to be also very nice. Slowbro in general, by the way, the best of the new Pokemon there with the move Surf. I guess both Slowbro versions are very decent, but still you should kind of want to have them all. Let me see real quick how good in Ultra League the Bruxish is compared to the Slowbro. Bruxish and Slowbro. Slowbro has a bulk level of 4,317, while Bruxish has a bulk level of 3,575, which means you have way more bulk. Like 800 difference there is kind of huge. So yeah, definitely that's something that you rather want to have. Like basically Slowbro is a little bit bulkier than the Tapu Fini, so that's something that you definitely want to take a look at. As like Tapu Fini is a pretty bulky Pokemon in this matter, of course. So you're going to have a very strong Pokemon with the XL Slowbro coming up here. We're going to see the opponent going for one cross chop with their Obstagoon, as I will be able to go ahead and try to go for an Earthquake. Didn't work out. They're going to go for the charge move in time. Guess I maybe would have actually been able to get to my charge move here, but like this, there is nothing I can do here anymore, and we died to another Obstagoon. Not really ideal. Next opponent, we're going to see Garventula in the lead. Garventula going to be awkward, and what is also going to be awkward is that we basically encounter every game now all of a sudden Obstagoon, which is not something I wanted to see at all. Literally the only Pokemon that really counters our team. Other than, of course, Trevenant, I guess. Trevenant also counters our team, but yeah, of course, we're going to encounter them like twice in a row. It's so amazing, isn't it? But like, at least it's uncut. You see all the losses here with this team. You see that there are some issues with this team. I wouldn't really recommend you to use exactly this team. I think with an Obstagoon, of course, they're going to get the boost here as well, because why not? With an Obstagoon or a Scrafty, it might be a little bit better. We're going to see here that we cannot get to a next charge move. We are still going to shield, which is definitely the way to go. I definitely had to shield here, as I still have to go for another charge move here to get the last shield from the opponent. Moonblast coming through. I can swap out here because I don't want to give them even more farm. So they only can get to one charge move against my Galarian Stunfisk, but with the boost, like the boost literally changed the entire matchup here, sadly. If they didn't boost there, I had a greater time with the Cresselia as well. I didn't have to swap out there, and also I would have been able to just take the move on my Stunfisk and go for the Earthquake without even using the shield. Then I had basically a shield advantage with my Bruxish in the back against a very decent matchup in general. Here like this, I am not going to have a great time at all. They're going to go for the Night Slash here. They're not going to get to the move, but they're going to get another boost, as you maybe saw there as well, which does not really matter too much, but still, like, that's kind of wild. Like, yeah, they got 2 boosts here in the game as well. And now we have the Garventula. This is going to be a guessing game. It's a guessing game when they're going to throw their charge move. I'm going to go 1 over their own charge move here, but sadly they went 2 over their own charge move and they didn't throw. So sadly, the guessing game was not on our side there, and we're going to lose this battle here, sadly, but very good game there from my opponent. Of course, 2 times boosting there was definitely the way to go for them and won them the game. If they didn't boost there, I think that would have been our game. But yeah, that's the game we play. Like, we're going to have a game of chances here. We're going to see the opponent with a Registeel. We have the a little bit easier to get Registeel with our Galarian Stunfisk here. We can shield up the move from the opponent. Zap Cannon coming through. They're going to debuff us. Of course, they're going to bait us, debuff us, and get the shield. Amazing for us. As we're going to go ahead and go for the Earthquake. Like, nothing really goes our plan here right now. We're going to shield up the next move as well. We're going to go with, it has to be a Focus Blast. Yeah, it's going to be a Focus Blast here. Are they going to swap out here eventually? They're going to swap out into a Giratina. I'm still going to just throw my charge moves here because I don't really want to swap out yet. Hindsight, I should have went and just swapped after this next Earthquake. Maybe just farm up to another Earthquake after they throw their charge move. Because now they're in range for my Giratina. And I kind of need to keep my Giratina, for my Cresselia, of course. And I kind of need to keep my Galarian Stunfisk for the opponent Registeel. So it's not really the matchup I want to be in. They're going to go for the Dragon Claw the entire time. I can overfarm to 100 energy. I'm going to go for the Rock Slide though, which is an interesting play here as we're going to go lower and lower, but we will be able to get some extra energy here as I'm going to go ahead, and I think I'm going to swap out here soon as they're going to go into the Tapu Fini. That's amazing for us. Tapu Fini is something we can counter pretty easily with Cresselia here. We can go for the Grass Knot. Grass Knot will be able to two-shot this Pokemon, which is really good for us. And I don't really understand what my opponent tried to do here at the end game, to be fair. They're going to let the move go through here. They're going to go for the, I'm going to go for the Grass Knot again. They're going to let this move go through again for whatever reason. I have no idea why. But we will be able to just go ahead, go for the, they're going to go for the Zapcan here, which debuffs us. Totally fine for me. I can go for this Moonblast here. And they're actually going to have to kind of shield eventually, right? They're going to shield a Moonblast instead of the moves before, which doesn't make any sense at all. I can snipe them, and that's going to win us the game. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. XL Bruxish is a lot of fun, but not really something you need to get. But yeah, that's going to be it for this one. See you next one. Have a great rest every day. Bye.